I'm the Deputy Press Secretary for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Before you are 17 sheriffs here to memorialize joining the 287G program with ICE. Here now to offer remarks, Acting Director Tom Homan.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us today. Before we get started, I want to thank our partners in the Texas Sheriff's Association for taking the time out of their annual meeting to participate in the ceremony today. Especially want to thank Sheriff Lauterbach, right here, of the Jackson County Sheriff's Department for his support of this program and his continued partnership. I also want to recognize some of the distinguished guests we have in our audience today. Congressman Farenthold, former ICE Director John Torres, and representatives from the office of Senator Cruz, Congressman McCall, and Congressman Barton, and Congressman Burgess are in the audience. And last but not least, Manny Padilla, Chief Patrol Agent, Rio Grande Sector. I started in Border Patrol, so I always give a shout out to the men in green. By working closely with ICE through the 287G program, the 18 jurisdictions represented here today are demonstrating a clear commitment, strengthening public safety and upholding their promise to serve and protect. Law enforcement personnel in jurisdictions approved for 287G participation receive specialized training in immigration law and using the ICE databases before becoming designated immigration officers. In addition to the initial training, these officers undergo refresher training every 2 years at the Federal Law Enforcement Center in Charleston. More importantly, participating in 287G improves public safety by significantly reducing the likelihood that a removable alien will be released back into the community without ICE officers knowing who they are or where they are. Under the provisions of 287G, local law enforcement officers will perform immigration screening of individuals already in their custody who have been arrested on criminal charges. If it is determined that they're in the country illegally, we'll allow to detain her. And if they get released from custody and they're removable, they will be removed from the country. Programs like 287G show that we are serious about preventing criminal aliens from having the opportunity to reoffend by taking custody of them inside of a jail. There's no doubt that arresting removable aliens in a jail is safer for the officers, is safer for the community, and even safer for the alien himself. I've said it many times in the past few months, and I'll say it here again today. ICE is going to enforce the law. Laws enacted by Congress and laws that we took the oath to enforce. And the 287G program is an effective tool that I intend to use as much as possible. We greatly appreciate the cooperation of these 18 jurisdictions, and I hope there are many more events like this one to come. We all share a commitment to strengthening public safety, and by working together through programs like 287G, we can show the American people that we are serious about this commitment. To my right are 17 American patriots. They're American patriots who want to protect their communities, and they're working with us to do just that. So I'm proud to call them partners in law enforcement, professional law enforcement officers. I want to thank you, and at this time I want to introduce Sheriff Lauterbach to share a few words about this important program. Sheriff?
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you. Thank you. Some of you may have heard this before. With honor and integrity, we will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. We will do the best we can to protect that. Today, Texas sheriffs stand with Department of Homeland Security and ICE in the 287G program. Criminality is what we're here about. Criminality is the common bond that brought all of us together in a public safety partnership. From Texas sheriffs in Texas counties This is the pathway to provide the type of criminal control coming out of our jails that we've been looking for. We're so proud to be part of the partnership with the federal government under 287G, and our benefit will be directly attributable to that program. And it'll also do a tremendous amount where, as Texas sheriffs, we're not faced with having to release someone out of our jails that we have no information about whatsoever. So again, a public safety partnership that is instrumental in public safety. And again, the common bond, the common denominator in this program is criminality. So our hats are off to ICE. Thank you very much for getting this done for us. And it's an honor to work. Thank you.
Now, if you'll just bear with us for a second, we're going to take a group photo, and then we'll start the signing. So if reporters with stills want to come up a little closer, the money shot is coming. I'd just like to warn you. Step on in.
Right here. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Now we can open up the floor to questions. Mr. Fink?
Sheriff Wayburn, I know you're part of this.
I should have been more clear, I'm sorry. One-on-ones in the group right now, it's going to be Mr. Homan and Sheriff Lauterbach, and then we'll break apart for one-on-ones just because there are a lot of people. Thank you.
What do you say to those who may criticize this program, believing that this is locals trying to do the federal government's job and inappropriate? What would you say?
I say they're wrong. These are law enforcement professionals trying to keep their communities safe by taking those who commit crimes in our communities off the street and hopefully out of the country. We're enforcing the law. They're law enforcement officers. That's what they do. And I'm a law enforcement officer. ICE is a law enforcement agency. We're doing our job. So those who think we're not doing our job, they don't understand it. This is about public safety. It's about officer safety. For every criminal alien that my officers can't get out of a county jail, means we have to knock on a door. And everybody up here in law enforcement knows what it's like to knock on a door of someone that's a criminal alien that's a threat to the community. This is about keeping cops safe and our community safe.
Here in Texas, as you're probably aware, SB 4 has been passed and takes effect on September 1st. It gives local law enforcement officials the ability to inquire about immigration status and things like that. It's been highly controversial here in Texas, with some rather large departments coming out against it, saying that that asks their officers and their deputies to do things that they believe are in the purview of the federal government. And some pretty large municipalities have come out against it, saying that we're not immigration enforcement, we are what do you say to some of those other local critics who, big sheriffs and police chiefs in the city, in the state that say, it's not our job?
Okay, fine.
Or anyone, whoever wants.
Actually, SB4, we've had for many years from the Supreme Court the ability to ask status. So SB4 didn't give us that. That's not anything that SB4 did. And SB4 does not make an immigration officer out of any Texas peace officer. We do not gain any additional powers in any way, form, or fashion from SB4. We've been able to ask status in this country for a very long time from the Arizona Supreme Court decision. So SB4, and I think you can't neglect the thought and the actual happening in that the partnership here, we have in our jails, in our Texas jails, we have criminal aliens who commit crimes against Texans. So our ability to work and cooperate efficiently and as quickly as we can to identify those people, that is part of public safety. That's part of the public safety message from Texas sheriffs, and it's not doing ICE's job. They're there for criminality in our jails. We're cooperating as we do with all law enforcement agencies in this state and in this country. ICE is no different. We're not going to ignore that portion of the law.
Is there a reason why it's been difficult to get other, as I mentioned, sheriffs and police chiefs in the state to view it that way? I understand what you're saying. It makes perfect sense, and I think a lot of people would agree that the more departments working together, the better. But again, there's been some pretty vocal critics. So how do you get everyone to get on the same page and view it as what you just said?
Magic. What you have here is the beginning of magic as we work together. As we forge a pathway with leadership to work a system to the best possible way for public safety. Isn't that the goal here? Is it politics? You'd have to dig further down to answer your question or portions of your question. But the real goal here is public safety and how we go about it. And that's by unity and working together. That's how we accomplish a major portion of what we do in our business in the law enforcement community.
If I can just follow up on my thoughts on that, some of the people I've talked to, they got a concern that this would divide the law enforcement agency from the immigrant community, which I disagree with. I've been doing this a long time, 33 years, and these criminal aliens victimize the very communities they live within. These immigrant communities don't want child predators walking around their neighborhoods. So what drives fear in immigrant communities is the mismessaging that's out there about ICE conducting raids and sweeps, which we do no such thing. We made over 66,000 arrests since January, and 72% of those arrests had a criminal history. But you don't read about that in the media. You read about raids. You read about how we're sweeping neighborhoods, which is totally untrue. Everybody that ICE targets for an arrest is based on criminal investigations and intelligence work. We know specifically who we're going after and where we're going. So it's not a sweep, it's not a raid. So those mismessaging, intentional mismessaging, is driving the fear in the immigrant community. These immigrant communities don't want criminal aliens in their community either. And that's just a black and white answer to a simple question of public safety.
Two quick questions, Director Holman, totally unrelated. The first is there any financial incentive for counties to participate in this? Are they reimbursed by the federal government in any way? And the second is, I understand that some Catholic bishops are offering churches as sanctuaries for immigrants who feel that you're maybe targeting them for arrest. What's your reaction to that, and can you rule out ever going into a church to arrest them?
Well, I'll never rule out anything. If they're a national security threat and it's a danger to this country in some way or fashion, then we got to make a decision on a case-by-case basis. We do have a sensitive location policy, which I'll make clear here today, because, again, mismessaging. We don't arrest people at schools. We don't arrest people at hospitals. We don't arrest people at churches. But there's that, again, putting the fear in the immigrant community, trying to turn the tide against what we're trying to do, is that we make arrests in those locations. You can't give me one arrest anywhere in this country where they've been arrested at a sensitive location. Now, have they been arrested near a school? Have they been arrested near a church? when you're in New York City or in LA and you pull a car over in the street, chances are you're within 2 blocks of a school or church. But that's the headline. We arrested somebody at a school. No, again, targeted enforcement operations, specific persons, specific target, specific locations. We'll stick by the sensitive location policy, but in that policy it also says if it's a significant national security threat or significant public safety threat, then we can look at the sensitive location policy and make a decision. So are we looking to start going to churches, arresting people? No. Let me make that clear, because I'll read tonight that I said we're going to start raiding churches. No, we don't do that. And I forgot your first question?
Yeah, financial incentive for counties to start.
We train them. We pay for the training. We pay for the equipment. But no, these sheriffs are doing what they can for the safety of their communities. That's why they're not here to make a dollar. They're here because they want to protect their communities. They want to make sure a public safety threat doesn't walk out of jail. Number one, let's remember, they committed a crime when they entered this country. That's crime one. Crime two is when they arrested them for committing a crime against a citizen in the community. Crime two. So now this is about public safety. It's about keeping their community safe. And I think they've taken the same oath I've taken to protect the community.
Mr. Coleman, there's 254 counties in Texas. How many have now signed on? How many counties have now signed on? And are you on a courtship to get more sheriffs to sign 287G packs?
I don't know how many counties here. I know it's... As far as we have to get back to you on how many counties in Texas are signed up. I know we have over about 60 agreements now, but your question is how many counties do I like in Texas? Every one of them. I like every county in Texas to sign up. I like every county in the United States to sign up, so public safety threats don't go back into communities and commit crimes against citizens of this country or people that are illegally in this country. This is about public safety. I wish everybody would come to the table in partnership.
Last question before we break off. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
It's good to meet you. All right, see you again. Good to see you.
Come on down, man. We need some soup.
Later this afternoon. Oh yeah, we'll be boarding all calls for a week on this now.